I explained this morning, my name is Grant Cameron. I'm a private investigator for 38 years. I've spent most of my time looking at what the highest levels of U.S. government, military, and intelligence agencies know about the UFO phenomena. This afternoon, speaking about the Rockefeller Initiative. My testimony is based on 1,000 pages of documents that were released to me in 2001 by the Clinton White House in response to an FOIA for UFO files. It should be noted here that, like the documents you were talking about this morning, the Roswell documents that disappeared, these documents have now disappeared. Both the National Archives and the Clinton Library both maintain they do not have the documents. For example, I filed an FOIA with the Clinton Library. I received about 1,000 pages of UFO documents, which included an awful lot of material that Stephen Greer had said to the President. The 1,000 pages that I'm going to talk about right now were not part of the disclosure, and both maintain that they don't have them. They are on my website, the President's UFO website, and Paradigm Research Group has these 1,000 pages of documents from the Clinton White House. Basically what the documents show, these FOIA documents show that billionaire businessman Laurance Rockefeller had approached the White House to get the government to disclose the truth behind the UFO mystery. There was different Rockefellers. There was Nelson Rockefeller, who was the political guy who ran for government. There was David, who was the money guy. And Laurance Rockefeller was the sort of humanitarian, had a philosophy degree from Princeton, and was very interested in this phenomena. Rockefeller also had other meetings outside the White House. One example was with Republican Stephen Horn, Republican from California, from the Government Reform and Oversight Committee related to government secrecy. Rockefeller's request for UFO disclosure was dealt with in the White House by the President's science advisor, Dr. Jack Gibbons. To prepare for the first meeting in March of 1993 with Rockefeller, Dr. Gibbons requested a UFO briefing from the CIA. That briefing was tasked at the CIA to Dr. Ronald Pandolfi. So if you want to know, that's probably the guy you should be phoning. Dr. Ronald Pandolfi, who's been identified by the New York Times as the top scientist in the CIA, and a man who is rumored inside the UFO community as the agency expert on UFOs, and a man that over the last 20 years has repeatedly interacted with many researchers inside the UFO community. As the CIA has a public position of no UFO involvement, Pandolfi gave the job of writing the White House briefing, which he knew would become public because Laurance Rockefeller was involved. He gave that briefing job to a private UFO researcher, Mr. Bruce Maccabee, who had done a couple of UFO lunchtime talks at the CIA headquarters. The briefing therefore became not an official briefing on the subject, but just a personal opinion of one researcher inside the UFO community. Rockefeller exerted great pressure on the Clinton White House, threatening to write an open letter demanding UFO disclosure from President Clinton, and to make this demand public in full-page ads in all the major newspapers in the United States. Under this pressure, Dr. Gibbons agreed to try to get some sort of disclosure on the UFO subject. He asked Mr. Rockefeller to pick one case that could be declassified, and then all the rest of the cover-up material could be dealt with. Mr. Rockefeller picked the 1947 UFO crash at Roswell as the case to investigate. And that is one of the reasons why there was a reinvestigation of the Roswell crash by the U.S. Air Force in 1994. The U.S. Air Force did not decide to do it on their own.